Pause a moment and consider the noise. It is the noise of the 21st century, the relentless churn of the news cycle, the volatile swing of the market, the opinions of millions expressed in real time, all clamoring for your attention and, more importantly, for your worry. We live in an age of unprecedented connectivity, yet we feel a crushing weight of powerlessness, constantly anxious about outcomes we simply cannot determine. This is the great invisible epidemic of the modern age, the suffering caused by chasing control where none exists. But 3,000 years ago, during the twilight of the Greek city-states and the zenith of the Roman Empire, a solution was forged. It was not a religious creed or a form of therapy, but a rigorous, practical operating system for the mind: Stoicism. Stoicism doesn't promise you a perfect life. It promises you an unconquerable mind. It teaches that the path to tranquility is found not by manipulating the world, but by radically redefining your relationship with it. Today, we delve into the 5 core Stoic principles that are your ultimate antidote to worry. These are the life lessons taught by the slave-turned-philosopher Epictetus, the statesman Seneca, and the philosopher-emperor Marcus Aurelius. Wisdom that has stabilized the greatest minds in history. Our central promise is this: by the end of this deep dive, you will possess a framework to distinguish between chaos and command, allowing you to stop worrying about what you cannot control and dedicate your full, potent energy to what you can. A profoundly calm, philosophical, and deeply persuasive male voice, maintaining an academic yet motivational tone. Pacing is slow and deliberate, designed for prolonged listening and deep reflection. If you could only choose one lesson from Stoicism to carry through life, it would be this: the dichotomy of control. The concept is deceptively simple, yet utterly revolutionizing. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, experienced true powerlessness. His body, his circumstance, his freedom, all were dictated by his master. And yet, he discovered the one domain where he was absolutely sovereign: his mind. In his Enchiridion handbook, he writes, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us." This is the philosophical divide that saves the Stoic from emotional wreckage. The domain of control, things up to us. This domain includes your judgments, your impulses, your desires, your aversions, in short, your prohairesis, or your rational faculty of choice. It is the internal world, how you choose to perceive, react, and intend. The domain of non-control, things not up to us. This domain encompasses everything else: your body, which will eventually fail; external possessions, which can be lost; reputation, which is dictated by others; political office, which is fleeting; and all external circumstances, the weather, the economy, war. The fundamental source of all human anguish, according to Epictetus, is mistaking the two. When we try to command the uncontrollable, we are guaranteed frustration, anxiety, and despair. When we focus on commanding the controllable, we find immediate power and tranquility. Deep dive. Why this concept is a cognitive weapon. The modern mind is conditioned to believe that maximum effort guarantees maximum reward. We pour effort into persuading a critic, forcing a business deal, or demanding loyalty from a friend. These actions target the domain of non-control. The Stoic realizes this effort is not only wasted, it is destructive. It gives away your internal peace to an external force. The dichotomy of control is a cognitive filter. Whenever a negative emotion surfaces, fear about the future, anger at an injustice, frustration with a colleague, you must immediately run the Epictetan test. Is this emotion arising from something up to me or something not up to me? If the problem is external, your action is acceptance. Not passive resignation, but active, rational acceptance of reality as it is. If the problem is internal, a flawed judgment, a disproportionate reaction, your action is correction. Practical application. The three-part exercise. To integrate this principle into your daily life, the Stoics practiced a three-part exercise. Categorization. When confronting a situation, example, waiting for an important phone call, mentally list which parts are up to you, your preparation, your patience while waiting, and which parts are not, when the person calls, what they say. Affirmation. Before engaging, internally affirm, I will do everything within my power, but I accept the outcome is not mine to choose. This preemptive acceptance releases the tension of expectation. Refusal. Deliberately refuse to invest mental energy in predicting or trying to manipulate the external, uncontrollable variables. This is the act of psychological disarmament, the true meaning of Stoic indifference. The beauty of this principle is its instant availability. You don't need wealth, power, or luck. You need only your rational faculty, which is always, immediately, and universally available to you. A profoundly calm, philosophical, and deeply persuasive male voice, maintaining an academic yet motivational tone. Pacing is slow and deliberate, designed for prolonged listening and deep reflection. If the dichotomy of control provides us with the boundary of our power, the second principle provides us with our ultimate defense mechanism. It is called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. The modern mind is perpetually anxious. We fear the unknown. We fear sudden loss. We cling to the illusion of stability. Seneca, the great Roman statesman and Stoic philosopher, argued that this fear of the unknown is far worse than the reality of any misfortune. He advised, "He who has anticipated the coming troubles disarms the dangers when they arrive." The practice is simple. Mentally rehearse the negative outcomes. Before a business venture, contemplate its collapse. Before a flight, contemplate a delay or even a crash. Before a conversation, contemplate the other person reacting with anger. This is not a morbid exercise. It is an act of deep psychological hygiene. When we contemplate the worst, we do two things. First, we realize that the imagined catastrophe is usually survivable, or at least bearable. Secondly, We experience the fear in a safe, controlled mental environment, so that when a milder version of that event occurs in reality, it lacks the paralyzing shock. The Stoic robs fortune of its element of surprise. Worry is passive. It is a loop of unproductive fear centered on events outside your control. Preparation, or Premeditatio Malorum, is an active, rational process centered on your own internal response. For example, worrying about losing your home is a passive fear. Practicing Premeditatio Malorum means 1. Accepting the possibility of loss. 2. Mentally preparing how you would secure shelter and income in that event. And 3. Realizing that even without the physical property, your core virtues, your capacity for hard work and resilience, remain untouched. The property is external. Your character is internal. The core teaching here is about exposure therapy for the soul. By voluntarily exposing ourselves to imagined adversity, we develop emotional calluses. We cease to be victims of circumstance and become conscious directors of our internal fortress. The wise person does not wish for fortune to be kinder. They wish for their own mind to be tougher.
A profoundly calm, philosophical, and deeply persuasive male voice maintaining an academic yet motivational tone. Pacing is slow and deliberate, designed for prolonged listening and deep reflection. The Stoics held that the only true good is virtue, moral and intellectual excellence. Everything else, like wealth, health, or reputation, is merely a preferred indifferent. If virtue is the goal, then adversity is not a curse. It is the essential gym equipment. Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man in the world, wrote his meditations not in a palace, but often while commanding legions on campaign, dealing with the Antonine Plague, and battling existential threats to the empire. He saw these crises as necessary practice. He understood that a man cannot demonstrate courage unless he is facing danger, or patience unless he is facing delay. He writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the Stoic reframing of suffering. When you encounter a major difficulty, a job loss, a betrayal, a health setback, your first non-Stoic impulse is to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" The Stoic, however, immediately asks, "What virtue is this demanding of me?" Deep dive, the 4 cardinal virtues. Every challenge in life provides an opportunity to practice one of the 4 cardinal virtues. Practical wisdom, or prudence. The ability to navigate complex situations with reason and clear judgment, especially when overwhelmed by emotions. Temperance, or self-control. The restraint of desires and appetites. Adversity forces us to live simply and prioritize essentials. Justice, treating others fairly even when they have wronged you or when society is collapsing around you. Courage, not just physical bravery, but moral fortitude, the courage to speak the truth, to live authentically, and to persist when circumstances are terrifying. By seeing the external event, the job loss, as neutral, and the internal response, your persistence, your calm search for a new role as the only thing that matters, you transform suffering into a spiritual growth opportunity. You cease to be a victim of circumstances. You become a student of life, constantly refining your character.
The fourth principle is the most powerful technique for instantly neutralizing petty anxieties and anger. It is the practice of gaining the cosmic view, sometimes called the view from above. When you are intensely angry because someone cut you off in traffic or enraged over a minor bureaucratic delay, your perspective is trapped. Your ego inflates the event, making it feel monumentally important. The Stoic practice is to mentally float upwards. Imagine yourself looking down on your city, then your continent, then the tiny blue marble of Earth floating in the infinite silence of space. From that vantage point, your life is reduced to a flicker, and your anger to less than a speck. This exercise serves two profound purposes. Humility. It instantly checks the ego, reminding you that your personal dramas, while important to you, are insignificant in the grand scope of the cosmos. And connection. It fosters cosmopolitanism, the sense that you are a citizen of the universe, intrinsically connected to all humanity. It becomes harder to harbor intense anger toward a fellow human being when you see them as a microscopic comrade on the same lonely planet. This perspective is what allows Marcus Aurelius to write about the shortness of life and the fleeting nature of fame and wealth. It is the ultimate cure for ego-driven worry. It teaches us that time and space will dissolve our worries anyway. The wise person simply chooses to dissolve them now.
A profoundly calm, philosophical, and deeply persuasive male voice, maintaining an academic yet motivational tone. Pacing is slow and deliberate, designed for prolonged listening and deep reflection. The final, integrating principle is the command to live according to nature. This doesn't mean retreating to the woods. It means living in harmony with the nature of the cosmos and the nature of man. To live according to the nature of the cosmos means accepting the inherent impermanence and cyclicity of all things. Everything changes, everything ends. This acceptance, or amor fati, love of fate, is the highest expression of Stoic tranquility. It means loving everything that happens to you, not because it is good, but because it is necessary for the cosmic order. To live according to the nature of man means recognizing that our unique function is reason. Unlike animals, we possess the capacity for logic, objective judgment, and virtue. Therefore, the highest human good is to use our reason fully and consistently. When we act irrationally, when we are consumed by fear, luxury, or rage, we are living against our nature and guarantee our own misery. The combination of these 5 principles leads to apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from destructive passions, and ataraxia, unshakable tranquility. You now possess the 5 core tools of the Stoic mind. They are not theories, they are practices, demanding consistent, daily effort. The Dichotomy of Control. Master your judgments, ignore the externals. Premeditatio Malorum.
Pre-grieve the possible so you can live freely in the present. Embrace adversity. See every hardship as training for virtue. The view from above. Shrink your worries down to their cosmic size. Live according to nature. Use your reason and love the necessity of fate. The anxiety you feel about the future, the anger you hold about the past, these are the mental chains forged by misunderstanding these principles. Your mind is the only true possession that cannot be taken from you, and it is the only thing that matters. Take command of it today. A profoundly calm, philosophical, and deeply persuasive male voice, maintaining an academic yet motivational tone. Pacing is slow and deliberate, designed for prolonged listening and deep reflection. If this deep dive into Stoicism has provided you with a moment of calm or a spark of clarity, then our work is affirmed. The Stoics believed in shared wisdom. If you wish to continue this journey of self-mastery, please hit the subscribe button now. It's a small internal action that supports our shared mission to bring ancient wisdom into the modern world. And before you leave, I have a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, choose one of these 5 principles and deliberately practice it every time worry strikes. Then, come back to the comments below and share which principle you chose and what difference it made. Your reflection strengthens the community. Thank you for tuning in to this exhaustive guide to inner peace. The path to freedom is internal. Choose wisely.